everybody, you are back in the kitchen with the Barlow Queen. Today is Sunday and I've decided I'm going to make a beef tips shepherd's pie. I'm not a fan of hamburger meat very much, so I thought we'll do beef tips instead. So I've got, I think, pretty much all the ingredients laid out, but if I need something, I'll grab it. And Big Jim always wants to know what I used to cut my meat and vegetables. So this is a forged in fire 3.5-inch cleaver. So that's what I used today. Very handy. So I have a recipe that we're going to kind of follow. So in my pan, I've got 3 tablespoons. It calls it for olive oil, and I've got avocado oil. So I do just a little bit different. You just use what you've got. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of butter in with my oil. If I can cut it out. Okay, so we're just going to cook it over medium-high heat. And then I guess once it melts, we're going to put the meat in. So I have 2 pounds diced up beef tips, stew meat, whatever you want to call it. But they're about in 1-inch cubes. So as soon as this is about getting melted, then we're just going to throw all this meat in. Okay, so the recipe says I've got my oven preheating to 375. Okay. So once the beef tips are brown, we're going to remove them from the pan and set them aside. So I'll just throw them into a paper plate because the less dishes I use, the less dishes Harold has to wash.
Amen.
He's amening yes from the kitchen. So this is probably going to take a few minutes to cook this up. So I may just go ahead and pause you while I'm cooking this. And then once the meat's done and we're going to the next step, I'll bring you back on. So hold on. Alright guys, so I took out my meat. So it's not technically cooked all the way through, it's just browned on all sides. So the recipe calls for it to be cooked in a Dutch oven, but I'm using a pan, so I'm thinking that's why I've got all this juices left. But with my hands, there's just no way I can pick up a Dutch oven right now. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave the juices in there because this is the first time I have made this recipe, so I don't have any trial and error. We're just going to do what it says to do. So I have got 1 medium onion diced, so we're going to dump that in. And it says cook it for 2 to 3 minutes. So it's just going to get soft and translucent in the juices. So it's not a very pretty sight to see, but I'll see if I can get you closer. That should be good. So I'm just stirring it around in the juice, which is just the drippings from the meat, the butter, and the oil. So once we cook that some, we're gonna add garlic. Harold is not a garlic fan, any way, shape, or form. So instead of using minced garlic, because that's what it calls for 1 tablespoon minced garlic. In this house, we use garlic paste. Then he doesn't have any little chunks that he can see or anything like that.
It's still gross.
Would you hush? It is not gross. Normal people like garlic. He's crazy, y'all. So I'm just going to squeeze some in there. And then we are just going to cook it for another minute with the garlic in there. So yeah, so the onions are getting pretty good and soft. So then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. So once it gets going, it looks like it moves pretty fast. That's probably about a minute. So after we stir the flour in, we're going to cook it for 1 minute. And I like just to take a whisk and do mine like, because basically we're making a roux. So yes, I'm glad I did not dump those juices out because that flour is soaking all that juice up. Let's see what's next. Okay, so the next thing we're adding in is 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Ooh, I'm going to have to turn this fire down. It's getting a little bit hot. And next time, I probably will not put it in this ramekin, because that's a little bitty bit hard to get out. Okay, so once we've got the tomato paste in, we're going to pour in the stock. So since I'm pouring all of this in, I just went ahead and mixed it all together. So it's 3 cups of beef stock, 1 cup of red cooking wine, a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of pepper, and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire. So I'm just dumping that in. So we're going to get that stirred in pretty good, and that's what's going to make your sauce. So once it looks good and incorporated, we're going to put the meat back in and cover it. And it says to simmer it for 1 hour, approximately an hour, until the sauce has thickened. And then if your sauce gets too thick, add a 1/4 cup of water at a time. But we ain't going to let that happen because we ain't adding no water. So I'm just making sure I don't have any clumps. So that looks really good to me. So I'm going to add my meat back in without spilling it. Okay. And my oven's preheated, but I didn't realize this was gonna cook for an hour. So I'm gonna turn my oven off just so I'm not wasting electricity. And I'm gonna use this lid because I want it to overhang a little bit so it can vent some. So I will see you back in an hour and we'll see what our sauce looks like. All right, guys, I am back. So I kind of got crunched for some time. So I'm just getting my meat done. And this will go in a 9x13 pan, like a glass casserole. But Harold and I, it is so hard for me to make anything like this because we just don't eat it. And it ends up going into the trash, or I take it to my co-workers. Well, one in particular, and let them have it. So I am going to do this in these two pans, and one of them I'm going to make, one of them I'm going to freeze. So that is something that you can do too. If you just, recipes generally make too much for you, I always divide them out and freeze some. And if you do freeze it, I just wrap it with saran wrap and then wrap it in tin foil. And when I go to cook it, I let it sit on the counter for a few hours to thaw back down to room temperature before I cook it. So that's just how I do it. Now, since this is a shepherd's pie, I have some frozen mixed vegetables. So I'm just going to sprinkle on top of the meat. Harold's not a big green pea fan, so I'm not gonna put too much on here. Just enough. I don't want to overpower him. But that way at least I can say I do have vegetables in it. Now, that looks good. So, what else goes on shepherd's pie? Mashed potatoes. We're doing everything the easy way today. So we are doing Bob Evans mashed potatoes. If you have not had them, you don't know what you're missing.
They are really good.
They honestly taste homemade, and they come in these pre-packaged. All you do is heat them up in the microwave, and I promise you, they are actually really good. I had it at a friend's house, and I'm like, those are already made. So me and Harold, we've been stuck with them ever since. So the recipe calls for 4 cups of mashed potatoes. This family size mashed potatoes from Bob Evans is 4 cups. So I'm just going to half the mashed potatoes between the 2 containers. I picked up some of the vegetables on my mashed potatoes, but that's okay. And I'll show you once I get it. I'm just spooning it over. And since I've never made this recipe before, once I try it, I will let y'all know if it's a keeper. But that's what it looks like. But just from tasting the sauce that is in the meat, Holy Mother of Mackerel, it is really good. I definitely would not steer you wrong. And if you like more potatoes, the recipe I'm going to hold up tells you how to make the mashed potatoes that go with this, but I just ain't about all that. I'm looking for the easy way, and I didn't want to be in the kitchen all day on a Sunday. So I have got this. So don't forget, our oven is preheated to 375. And whoo, those mashed potatoes are hot. we are going to just bake them until the mashed potatoes are golden brown. It says 45 minutes, but basically everything is done except the frozen vegetables. So we'll see if it really takes that long. So this was a little bit more of a labor of love than I had anticipated it to be. But from where I'm standing right now, it looks like it is going to be worth it. So I am going to freeze one, like I said. I'm going to show you this one. This one's the one going in the oven. So I've got the meat mixture on the bottom with its own sauce, frozen vegetables, and then mashed potatoes. I'm going to set my timer, and then when I take it out, I'll let you know what it looks like. So hold on. All right, everybody. It is out of the oven. I just took it out. I'm going to see if I can hold it up where you can see it, maybe without me spilling it. I don't know that I can, so let me see if I switch these. No, I can't. Can you? Let me see if I lean this down if you can see better. Yeah, so that's what my little mini casserole dish of shepherd's pie looks like. And I am gonna try it like I promised, since I don't honestly know if it's any good, but I'm telling you, what I tasted of the sauce, it was really
your
good.
name wrote out there already on casserole. You know, you had already said, well, you know, if I happen to win, I definitely want casserole.
So I did get the
So,
top a little
It
browned.
was a bit to be.
Can you see that?
Crabby man, yeah.
So I've got a fork right here. Let me blow it just a little bit because it's hot. But I'm telling you, it looks good and it smells good. And like I said, it's a little bit more of a labor of love than I thought it was going to be. But once you get the ingredients out, it really went fast. It was the waiting in between, the cooking it for an hour, and then the 45 minutes in the oven. But I mean, we cheated on the mashed potatoes. We put in the mixed vegetables. So really, the only thing we had to do was the meat.
Right.
So I think as long as it tastes yum, it's a
Right.
win-win.
Ain't hard. Yeah, on my Facebook you did. Yep. Oh, time's great.
It is really good. I don't think it needs any salt or anything. Harold might put a couple shots of Tabasco sauce on his. I'm not really sure. But to me, that tastes exactly like it should taste. And that's what we're going for. So I will make it again. And I might go ahead and make it in one big pan and invite people over and make a side salad and some bread. Super easy and fun. So I'm going to hold this recipe up, and like I said, it's got the beef tipped recipe here, the mashed potatoes here, or you can cheat like me. Let's see.
That's right.
So you'll have to.
Oh, all right. Are you gonna? Yeah, she's just fixing to pull out our. She's actually shooting a video over here on her latest and greatest.
Okay, I hope y'all can see all of that. So just pause it, copy it, try it. It really is good. I am proud of it. I think it's great. And you could have added a little bit more garlic than I did, but like I said, Harold's not that big on garlic at all. So that's what we're going to have for dinner. I'm going to let you guys go, but thank you so much for hanging on this long and watching me try a new video. So it's new to me and new to you. And I think it would behoove you to do it like this. And the meat is fall apart tender because of the hour of boiling it. So I just browned it till it was brown on the outside, took it out, and then cooked it for an hour. So if you do make this, don't cook your meat till your meat is done. Just cook it till the sides are browned. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.